Welcome back. So this time we're going to be reviewing Paperclip People, The Secret Tapes of Dr. EICH, EICH. So Paperclip People, if you don't know, is an alias that Carl Craig went under to put out this album. It is kind of a very kind of hilarious, and yet, I mean, it's just really, it's a discotheque, funky grooving, almost it almost sounds like it's a continuously mixed album, and yet it isn't. Although with the way that Carl Craig places the songs one after another, it kind of, you kind of forget about that the song that all these songs are individual songs, and yet the way he places them on the album, it kind of feels like it's a ongoing continuous mix, if that makes sense. Of course, I mean, it's really funny. It starts with the Welcome Center as the first track, 2 minutes and 54 seconds, where he's apparently this doctor of science or doctor of the groove or whatever. He's making experiments on people. And what kind of experiments? It doesn't really say, but maybe the experiment of what does discotheque and house music, techno music do to people? Do they get on the dance floor and dance? Or the other interpretation that I had was that Dr. Ike, he's a scientist, and he during the day he works on patients and does all this heavy work, and then during the weekend he has these secret tapes that he produces, and then he can let loose and dance and get the groove on, and kind of feel uninhibited. Or so the as I was thinking about it, why are these tapes secret? Because during the week when he's working, he's a scientist, and he's doing these very intense experiments on people, and then maybe he uses these tapes to have the patients listen to them, listen to the tape, and then observes, the people, what they do when they listen to the music. Do they dance? Do they just sit and listen to the music, or do they get up and run away? Or so that's the kind of premise, or the kind of setup of this album. It's kind of a mysterious, funny premise, in ways. But then when it comes down to it, it's like a really groovy discotheque house techno. I mean, it's labeled as house techno electro, but I mean, I can, maybe Dr. Ike was someone that lived in the 70s, and during that time he went out to the discotheque and he danced to disco, and to let loose, because his week was so intense with all the experiments he was doing. And I don't know. It just it's a funny premise, and it's really cool. It came out in 1996. So between Land Cruising came out in 95, and then he went under this alias as Paperclip People and but obviously he's the producer of all the music, and I mean it's top notch. It like I said, it sounds there's let's see, Welcome Center, Oscillator, Paperclip Man, Throw, The Climax, Clear and Present, Floor, Steam, Country Boy Goes Dub, Slam Dance, Parking Garage, Politics in My Neighborhood. Um, and at the end, My Neighborhood, you kind of hear this, basically this neighborhood with all kids playing in the background in the streets, maybe like a urban setting in somewhere downtown. Um, so the feeling that I got from it is that it's kind of a groovy record, more groovy, or more kind of upbeat dance beats uh, that are. I mean, you can clearly dance to it, and it's really uplifting. Even though the premise is this Dr. Ike making experiments on people, but anyways, besides the point, that's obviously he just made this album and thought it would be cool to you know build some kind of some story behind the secret tapes of Dr. Ike. So, anyways, it's a really good album. As far as tracks, I don't want to pinpoint any, but Oscillator is really good. I like Country Boy Goes Dub, and Throw is very good as well. Steam is another one. You can actually hear like the steam coming through the song. So yeah, it's a kind of a uplifting. Just let go and have a good time album. Check it out. It's Carl Craig, but it's you have to search for Paperclip People. That's apparently the group that made the album. Obviously, it's Carl Craig, but you can also just search for Carl Craig or the Secret Tapes of Dr. Ike. But it's a hilarious album and really groovy, really groovy. One of the grooviest that I've heard of Carl Craig. With some exceptions to his early house techno tracks from '89 to '90. There that compilation that I've mentioned before. That's really good as well. But the feel that I get from this album is go listen and have a good time. Get your butt up and start dancing. And it has this new disco house techno vibe to it, and I think I really enjoyed listening to it a lot. As far as what kind of rating I would give the album, I would give it probably like 7.5 out of 10. So yeah, if you like that stuff, and you like how it's like the artists make like a concept album, I think that's what Carl Craig was trying to do here, make a concept album and kind of go with the flow, go with the secret tapes of Dr. Ike, and what are they, and what kind of experience are these experiments on these people? Are they just listening to music? Are they and putting them on dance floor and seeing what they'll do? Who knows? Who knows? It doesn't say. So, your guess is as good as mine, but for the most part, I think it's just to have a good time and listen to the amazing production values that and just the beauty of the tracks themselves that Carl Craig has dreamt up and put down and recorded for our pleasure. So another great album by Carl Craig. Check it out and let me know what you think about the album if you heard it or what, and let me know what kind of albums you'd like me to review next, what kind of artist or I read all the comments and just let me know what you think, and if you have any suggested EDM artists or techno or any subgenre of dance music, let me know and I'll be glad to look into the album and listen to it and tell you what I think. Alright, so this is the third album from Carl Craig. I'm going to move on to a next artist, and I'll give you a hint. It's going to be Sven Waff, or I'm probably is it Sven Waff? He's German. Anyway, I'm going to be reviewing him next, some of his albums. But thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.